Okay, so we are done dusting now, and we're going to set up the solid state drive into this tower. And looks like we'll have to put some RAM in too because there is no RAM in here. No problem. So just for this order, looking at 128 solid state drive and 4 gigabytes of RAM. So, and this is the Lenovo ThinkCentre M91p. To open it, you just hit this blue lever on the side. Easy access. Beauty of these machines is very easy to open and work on. So just grab a SSD. I have one in the package right here. This is actually a refurbished 128 gigabyte solid state drive. And the reason why I tend to buy refurbished drives at around 120 or 128 gigabyte capacity is just to be cost effective. So we have our SATA cable that we plug in. And just gotta make sure it's tilted the right way. And our SATA power cable, which is coming directly from our power supply here. And that's it. It's fairly easy, plug and play. I'm just going to put it off to the side here because I'm going to be installing Windows. Later on, I'll just show how I typically, at least with this model, just use a zip tie and fasten it onto the blue hard drive holder there. Unless I'm adding a second hard drive, which I'll probably do a different video about. Okay, and we need 2 sticks of RAM. So I've got various sticks of RAM here, and it's always good to match up. Just because if you get 1 or 2 sticks of RAM at a different speed, I believe most systems will automatically go to the lower speed no matter how much RAM you have in. So this one is, just for short, 2 gigabyte 2-wire X8 PC3 8500 RAM by Elpida. And I've got 2 of these identical sticks. And we're gonna put them in. So when putting RAM into a machine like this, just look around for little tabs. Usually they're colored. This time it's blue. There's a tab here that you push in, and you can just lift up the CD, the optical drive, and pull back 2 RAM slot tabs here, and just make sure that you're lined up. It'll be pretty obvious if you have your RAM in the backwards or frontwards, whatever that word is. Just push down, not too much pressure, just until you hear a snap. And this one is super handy. It's color coded, so you know exactly where to put the RAM sticks in. In this case, there's 2 green and 2 blue. I'm putting the RAM sticks in the 2 blue slots. You can also look at the motherboard, and quite often, or probably every single motherboard, at least every one that I've ever encountered, will have they'll list the RAM slots labeled as DIMM 1, DIMM 2, DIMM 3, DIMM 4, and so on. You just have to get down and really look at the motherboard. Look at the fine print. Okay, those feel pretty good. I'll put that optical drive back down. And now there's not much else to do except power it up and just make sure it works. So I'll shift the camera around in a second. just to show what more of my workstation looks like. Okay. So I've got a couple of different displays here. Okay. Here we go. This is my testing monitor here, just a 15-inch Dell. Okay, and we're plugging in with VGA. And otherwise, there's room down here for graphic card for other display options. This also has a DisplayPort option right beside the VGA. And you can, well, you can just use DisplayPort, and that'll actually open up opportunities for multiple displays. I'm not too sure how many, but probably 2, 3. DisplayPort's pretty cool, not widely used at all, as far as I can, or as far as I know, and as far as what people buy. But it's a pretty good option, and I think it offers pretty good display. So put that in, put an Ethernet cable so we can run some Windows updates. And we'll plug in my now vintage USB Logitech gaming mouse and a spare old USB Apple keyboard that I just happened to get for free. Okay. Now I'll just turn this camera over to the monitor and I'll grab my USB stick that's loaded with Windows 10. Oh, almost fell over there. Okay. Maybe I'll just quickly show this process too. So I have my USB stick loaded with Windows 10, and I'll just stick it in a USB port. And further, when I turn it on, we'll just select it from the boot options. Okay, the moment of truth. ThinkCentre is always nice. You always know that you just have to hit enter. Uh-oh. So I'm going to keep hitting enter, and this is probably set to DVI. Display on the monitor, so I just have to change that. Oh. I see now. It's not turning on because I did not put the power cable in. Common mistake with me. All right. Now we will just see set to digital or analog. There we go. Second moment of truth. We have power. There we go. Okay, see, most ThinkCentres and ThinkPads, you just have to hit the blue ThinkPad button or hit enter on the keyboard. And you'll be featured with a list of options. Let's go into BIOS before we select our USB. Just to take a quick look. So we'll hit F1 and we'll just make sure that the RAM and hard drive are recognized, and looks like they are. I guess you can't really see. But we have our 4 gigs of RAM and our Toshiba solid state drive. We'll hit F10 for save and exit. And we'll hit enter again. Oh, never mind. It is automatically going to the USB boot, so it's all good. I'm going to pause the video and just do a quick update after we get Windows installed. I'm not going to record this part because it's just long and boring. There's not really too much to see if you're wondering about how to set up Windows 10, it's pretty straightforward, and you can just look up a different video or look up a tutorial online. One of my other videos, which maybe I'll link to, shows me entering it in on a laptop. So I'm going to hit pause here. Okay, I'm back. I decided to show this part because why not? It's part of my whole setup video, what I typically do. So we're at the Windows screen here. We'll hit next. We'll hit install now. And with a lot of decommissioned Office towers with Windows 7, there is a Windows 7 Pro key on the tower case, which I will enter in. I'm just going to shift the camera over here, and you can, or what am I thinking? I'm just going to hit pause. You can look at this beautiful landscape for a second. Okay, so once you're done entering in the product key, you just hit next. I just have it blocked off here because I don't want anybody stealing getting a free key. Not like I care too much, but often these things do cost money. The nice thing about getting a tower or a laptop with a Windows 7 product key is that you're guaranteed for Windows 10. And it sure beats buying a brand new product key or allegedly used product key off the internet. Okay, so our terms and conditions, we'll hit accept. Next, custom install Windows only. And usually here, even though we're showing that the drive is wiped, I still like to go the extra step and hit Shift plus F10, open up command prompt, and go into disk part. So all you have to do is type disk PART, hit enter, list disk, and select the appropriate disk. Select disk 0 in this case. And we hit clean. We type in clean. Hit enter, disk part succeeded in cleaning the disk. Alright. Type exit. Oh. Exit. And exit again. And we'll refresh. Okay, and we're good to go. We have our solid state drive selected. We'll hit next, and it'll start copying the files. So I'm just going to pause the video for this, and we'll come back to show a bit more of the setup process. This will take just a few minutes. If it ever takes longer than 5 or 10 minutes, then there's probably something wrong. Okay, so got most of the files loaded here. If you are greeted with this screen after the first round of all the files copying over to your hard drive, it just means that your USB drive was the first one selected to boot, so you just have to shut the computer off again and pull out the USB drive, because at this point you don't need it. Everything's been loaded onto the hard drive or solid state drive, and we just need to turn the machine back on, and we'll wait for the rest of the next steps. I can't think of a good thing to say. We'll wait for the next phase of the installation. Okay, so especially if you're using a solid state drive, this shouldn't take too long, but I'm just going to pause it because It's just kind of boring to watch a screen load. Okay, so this is the section of the install that allows you to choose all the options for your installation of Windows. I'll just walk through what I typically do, which is basically pick all the basic settings. If you're watching this video and you know exactly what to do, or you just want to skip through to the next portion, go ahead and skip through the video, but I'm just going to walk through this. So let's start with region. Is this right? We'll go up to Canada since we're in Canada. All right, hit yes. And it's pretty safe to, unless you have a special keyboard with a different language on it, usually just select US and skip the second keyboard layout. Unless, again, of course, you have another keyboard with a different language. All right, and we'll just set up for personal use. And once you get to this part, let's add your account. Most, if not all, copies of Windows 10 Pro will give you the option to opt out of adding an account. If you have an Outlook account, then go ahead and add it in if you want, or you can do this later once you install Windows. But always I go to offline account, just because I'm creating this for somebody else. And we'll always go with limited experience because we don't need all these extra features. We're not connecting to other smartphones or tablets. And usually for the username, I'll just type in Lenovo. Or if it's, excuse me, Toshiba or Acer, whatever, I'll type in the manufacturer name. It was pretty blurry actually, huh? And I'll skip the pass. Oop. Looks like our graphics are being initialized. Super blurry now. So we'll just try to fix that real quick. Okay, and we'll skip the password. And with online speech recognition, I usually select don't use. For location, I'll say no. All these settings can be changed later on too. It really depends on the individual what they want. For find my device, I'll definitely hit no. Sending data to Microsoft. It's not such a bad thing, but I'll usually select basic over full. Improve inking and typing, same thing. Send data to help improve the user experience later on, but I'll usually select no. Get tailored experiences with diagnostic data. I'll select no. Let apps use advertising ID. I usually select no for this too. I don't think there's a lot of harm in selecting yes for any of those options, but I'll usually select no just because, again, they can be changed later on and it really depends on what the individual user wants. I'll select no for do more across devices with activity history too, just because this is more specific to Microsoft products, especially from the Microsoft Store. So we'll hit no. Cortana, I'll usually select nothing to do with Cortana, just because, again, you can select to activate that later on if you want it. So I'll hit not now. All right, and we might have a couple more options to select, but it looks like it'll just take a few more minutes until we get to Windows, so I'll hit pause again. All right, so we have a successful installation of Windows 10 Pro 64-bit. So it looks like everything's working just fine. And usually at this point, Um, I'll give it a couple minutes just for some background applications to start up or different things to install. And then I'll hit the Windows key, type in updates, and we will run Windows Update. And that's it. That's pretty much what I do. Generally I'll download Google Chrome just because it tends to be a better browser than Microsoft Edge. But again, that's up to the individual and whatever they want. So yeah, hopefully this video helped out. This is just what I do to set up to set up towers. It's a pretty easy process, so if you're ever thinking about doing it yourself, it's really not that hard. And hopefully you found this video and hopefully it helped you out. Alright, so feel free to contact me, message below, if you maybe want to reach out and get some extra help. Alright, thanks for watching.